Happy Friday and welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. Today I'm going to be reacting to my November TBR and seeing how many of those books I actually managed to read. And of course I've got my trusty whiteboard with me here to help me keep score. So the rules of this game are simple. Right at the beginning of November I filmed a video saying all the books that I hoped and planned to be reading during the month of November. I'm now going to watch that video back and get 2 points for every book that I did manage to read, 1 point for every book that I at least started reading, and minus 2 points if I just didn't read it at all. Let's go straight in, shall we? Hello! So today I'm going to tell you about the books that I'm planning to read in November. By the time you'll be watching this, you'll know whether I have or haven't succeeded, which is a scary little thought. In November, I currently only have one new release lined up to read, but it's a very exciting one. I can't remember what this is. And that is Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. She, of course, is the actress from Jessica Jones, which I've never seen, but I know her from Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23, which I bloody loved that show. Also loved her back in the Gilmore Girls days. She crops up all over the place. I think she's swell, and I'm excited to read her book. Yes, I did read Bonfire by Kristen Ritter, and I thought it was really good. I wasn't sure what to expect. I love Kristen Ritter as an actress. I'm always a little bit wary when people who are famous in other fields decide to write a book. I also wasn't sure if she actually wrote it or if it was going to be a ghostwriting situation, and I still don't know the answer to that one, but I have seen her give interviews where she talks about her process of writing, which makes me think that she actually wrote it. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good fun. It was nothing groundbreaking, but it was a really page-turning thriller, and I think it would be a fantastic TV show with Kristen Ritter in the lead role, which maybe was her plan all along. Okay, running through my various challenges, I finally have a new Get a Hold of Your Shelf challenge because I finally read House of Leaves. And I don't have to pick it out of a hat because I did pick it out of a hat months ago, if you remember, before I knew how long it would take me to read House of Leaves. And that challenge was to read the book that's been on your shelf for the longest. So I'll be reading Unspeakable Things by Laurie Penny, which one of my best friends lent me maybe 3 years ago. I am so sorry, Fee, I still have this book. I did read that book, finally, and it was actually really lovely reading my friend's copy because I didn't even realise, all that time that I'd had it for 3 years, that she wrote her own notes in the margins. So throughout it, it was like I was reading the book and then hearing her talk about it, which was so much fun, and it was a really good book. For Diversity Bingo, I'm going to read a book that has a main character with an underrepresented body. Main character makes it sound like fiction. I've actually picked a non-fiction because it is non-fiction November. That's my second non-fiction on this list. I'm going to read Shrill by Lindy West, which I bought like a year and a half ago. I've got so many on this TBR that I've had for ages. I'm quite excited to do like a clear out of the ones I've had for ages. This is subtitled Notes from a Loud Woman, which is just fucking great. I love that. Yes, I did read that one as well. I love Lindy West. I loved her voice. I think she's hilarious. She also can write very movingly and powerfully. I didn't love the book as a whole because I didn't find it totally cohesive as a collection. I liked each individual bit, but I didn't necessarily think it worked very well. So I ended up giving it like a 3 stars, but it would be 5 stars for Lindy West's voice. But the main point is I did read it, so that's another 2 points. For Read Harder, a couple of months ago I said I was going to and then failed to read a superhero comic with a female lead, but this time I do actually have Wonder Woman, so I am going to read that now. I literally can't believe I forgot it again. Isn't that the one that I forgot in the last video? Superhero comic with a female lead. I totally forgot I was going to do that. What is wrong with me? I own this book now and I totally forgot to read it in October and I forgot to read it in November as well. Emma, pull yourself together. I can't believe that. That's so frustrating because I do own that book and I just again forgot to write it down and forgot to read this book. That's a minus 2 points for me, and it is deserved. And for the Throwback Book Club, where you're supposed to read a book that was published before 2017, and my own edition is that I had to have owned it before 2017, I'm reading another non-fiction I've been hanging on to. I'm going to finally read As You Wish by Carrie Elwes, because The Princess Bride is one of my favourite books and one of my favourite movies, and I love Carrie Elwes, and this is his behind the scenes of making the movie. That book was so good. I read it all in one day. This was actually the non-fiction book that I liked the most during my non-fiction November, which I didn't expect. I thought that I was going to love all of the kind of feminist essays because I live for that shit. But I think part of the problem is also because I read so many articles like that and I have conversations with my friends like that, I didn't find any of the feminist books that I read this month as groundbreaking. Whereas reading the behind the scenes of As You Wish, I didn't know that. That was brand new information and I found it so much fun it also made me feel emotional because I love that film so much, and it was so lovely to realise that all of the actors on it also loved the experience of filming it, and we kind of followed them through the few months that they spent all together filming it, and by the end I didn't want it to end. I didn't want their filming experience to end, I didn't want my reading experience to end. It was just so much fun. So I'm going to get those 2 points. So those are all my challenges, and now for the buddy reads and book clubs. I recently met the lovely booktuber Angelica Kofa, and we decided we're going to read Into the Water together by Paula Hawkins. We did read that one together, and we have filmed a video about it, so look out for that one, it will be coming soon. There's also the Girl Sex 101 book club, which is the book club that I run along with Emma Tobias and Joss from Scribbles Reads. And in November, we're going to be reading Girl Up by Laura Bates. Look at my fucking non-fiction November. I wasn't planning to do it, but now apparently it's happening. It did happen. Yeah, I've been reading that one. I haven't finished it. I'm this far through. That's about 2/3 of the way through, and I think it's fine. It's not as revolutionary as I was hoping it would be, but it's enjoyable, and she's a very funny writer. So I get 1 point for having started it. Joss also has her own book club called Storytime with Scribbles, and I'm going to read her pick, which is called The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. I didn't read that one. I didn't even run out of time to read it because I've actually read quite a lot of extra books that aren't on this TBR. I'm not big on fantasy. I've said this before, and I always then laugh because I love Harry Potter and that's fantasy, but other than that, I'm not big on fantasy, and I just kept not being inclined to pick this one up, which I do kind of regret because I've heard that it's really, really good, and even for people who don't really like fantasy, they've said that it's really good, so I think I should keep this on my, one day I'm going to read, but no, I didn't read it this month, just out of kind of sheer laziness, so that's another -2. I'm also in 2 other book clubs, but we haven't chosen the November books yet, so I don't know what they're going to be, but this is me promising that I will read the book club pick for my friends from uni, and also the book club in that I'm with my friends from work. I did one of those things. So, well, I don't even know if this counts, because I didn't do it in November. The book club pick that we ended up choosing with my friends from uni was Beartown by Frederick Backman, which I had already read, so I won't get the 2 points for it, but I also won't get -2 points because I deliberately didn't read it because I'd already read it, so that's just a 0. And then the book club that I'm in with my friends from work, I ended up not being able to go to, so I also didn't read that book. So I guess that one I should get a -2 because I didn't know at the time that I wasn't going to be able to go, so I could have read that book. And then finally, I'm just throwing in a bonus pick that I think it makes sense to read this month, and you'll see why, because this book is called November, and it's a poetry collection. I never read poetry because I'm really bad at understanding it, but maybe I finally will. Yeah, I still didn't understand it because poetry just misses out half of the words and I can't make sense of it, and I really want to learn, so somebody teach me. But yeah, I did read bits of that book, so that's 1 point. Look at all these books that I'm reading in November. It looks colourful and non-fictiony and fun, and I'm excited. So, how did I do? I did not bad, I would say. I read more of those than I didn't read, so I have got further along with my board, and when I get all the way to the end of this board, my husband has agreed to do a video with me, so that's going to be my prize. I do need to get better at doing my read harder challenges though, because we're now into the final month. I'm about to film my December TBR, and that's the final TBR for this year, so I've got a long way to catch up with my read harder challenges, my diversity bingo challenges. It's all going to be a bit much, so I'm hoping that December is going to be a fucking fantastic reading month, otherwise I'm a little bit of a failure. Sorry about the dryer noises, it's so loud in here. But do let me know what you've been reading in November and what books you are desperate to read before the end of the year. And of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for new videos every Friday. See you next time!